We are running through the running backs to start and sit in week 3, and that's our weekly conversation with SI senior fantasy analyst Michael Fabiano. Fabs, this is why you are the best. You aren't out here telling people to start Christian McCaffrey, right? You're going so far beyond the obvious. Case in point, this week, you like Chase Edmonds and Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, both of these guys are in the flex starter conversation without question based on the matchups. And first off, the Niners' backfield is a mess right now. It seems like everyone's injured. Mitchell is the only guy left standing. Start him this week against the Packers. We all know their defense can be vulnerable to running back. So Mitchell, based on volume and based on the matchup, is a nice flex option. And then Chase Edmonds. I liked him last week. The numbers weren't great, but now he's got the Jaguars. I mean, you have to flex Chase Edmonds this week. They've given up 13 total touchdowns and the second most fantasy points to running backs over their last 9 games dating back to last year. And Bill, simply put, the Jaguars just aren't very good.
All right, so 2 backs to get out of your lineups and Fabs. You just mentioned it. Jaguars not very good. You have James Robinson as a sit and also Devin Singletary.
Robinson is one of those guys that if you can bench him, you should because, well, the matchup isn't terrible, but Arizona has not given up a touchdown to a running back in their first 2 games. This could be a high-scoring affair. I just don't like the usage for James Robinson right now. Urban Meyer, I mean, what are you doing with this guy? He was one of the best rookie running backs in fantasy football last year. In fact, he was number 1. They're not giving him the ball enough, so he is a risk. Anything more than a flex starter this week is probably too risky for me. And then Devin Singletary had a big game last week, huge, against the Miami Dolphins, had over 17 fantasy points. Don't chase the points this week, folks. A couple of points. Number 1, Zach Moss got goal line opportunities. He scored twice near the end zone. And then they're playing the Washington football team this week. That is not a good matchup. So unless you're desperate for a flex play, I think Singletary needs to be on the pine this week.
All right, so that was the running backs to start and sit. And we have quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. It's all up on Sports Illustrated from Michael Fabiano, the original Stardom Sit 'em prognosticator. Check it all out. Go to si.com/fantasy.